Hello, my name is Professor Darrell Paul in the Political Science Department, and this is an introductory video for Political Science 202, Section 2 in the fall of 2015 semester, World Politics, an Introduction to International Relations. I'm making this special introductory video because I'm not able to be at the first day of class this week. I'm going to be out of town on some family business. But I wanted to make sure that you got some important information about the class, things that I would normally have relayed to you on the first day, and in particular take 5 or 10 minutes and go over the syllabus with you. So hopefully you've been to the first day of class already and you've got a physical copy of the syllabus. So if you have that handy, please have that next to you, and we'll go ahead and cover some important aspects of the class this semester. So on the top of the syllabus, of course, is some basic contact information for me. My office is over in Shapiro Hall up on the 3rd floor, and my office hours are Monday mornings, Friday mornings, and of course by appointment. We got a course description here about the class, and most importantly, as you'll see, the class is organized around 4 different sections, and these 4 different sections will take us through the semester all the way into December. The first section is Theories of World Politics. The second section is a section on war, a section on peace, and then finally at the end of the term, a section on globalization. I think it's important to say a couple of words about this theory section. This course is an introduction to international relations. It's a conceptual course. It's not a current events class. That being said, we certainly will cover some current events, but some of the foundations, the paving stones, if you will, for understanding international relations need to be laid here. And so that's what we wind up doing in this theories section. For some people, they like this section of the course very much. For others, this is going to be their least favorite part of the class. Unfortunately, you really can't avoid this, not just in the sense of for your proper education, but also, if you would take Professor Kalanick's section of this instead, she's going to give you 3 weeks of theory. Well, I'm going to give you a little bit more. I'm giving you 4. But we both do it. We both cover it. And I think you'll find that after we do this section of the course and get on to things that you're probably expecting more, war, peace, and globalization, that you're going to see that these theories turn out to be very important, and they really help us organize our thinking. And in fact, I think I'll show you in the theory section that we're all using theories of world politics to think about world events all the time. And in particular, in terms of paying dividends, we'll see how they can do work for us, how they can do work in explaining international relations. Down at the bottom of the first page, there's a little section on readings. We have 1 book assigned in this class, Mary Kaldor's New and Old Wars. And it's important to note that this is the 3rd edition of this book. It's very important to make sure you get the 3rd edition. Water Street Books carries this, but you can also look online. You can buy it from Amazon or Barnes & Noble or anybody else that you like. But if you're buying it online, please make sure you get the 3rd edition. As you'll see on page 2, there's also a course packet. In fact, there's going to be several course packets for my section of this course. And the first one is already produced, and it's available over in the packet room in 51 Park Street. So you can pick that up anytime that the packet room is open. The next section that I want to spend a couple of moments on is the section called Active Learning. In short, we're going to be playing 2 games in this section of World Politics this semester. One of them on international trade, we're going to play in class over 2 class sessions, December 1st and 3rd. The other game, we're going to be playing outside of class, and because it's outside of class, it's an optional game. And as you can see in the description, it's a board war game produced by a company called GMT Games, and it's called A Distant Plain Insurgency in Afghanistan. So if you want to play this game, it is completely optional, but I am offering a bribe to try to encourage you to play this game. There's some extra credit that is discussed in this paragraph, which you can read on your own. We're going to have an in-class tutorial to learn this game for those of you who are interested in doing this game and in earning the extra credit, and that takes place on October 22nd. And if we just flip over here to a page I already have brought up, it's a little review by a website that reviews all kinds of active learning exercises in international relations. They reviewed this game a couple of years ago, and as you can see in the very bottom, they have some pretty high praise for it. We certainly weren't disappointed. They call it highly enjoyable and engaging, and it gives a real sense of the strategic challenges and trade-offs of the Afghan conflict. This game ties in perfectly to the big theme in this class around the Mary Kaldor book of New and Old Wars. And so not just will we have, I think, some fun, but also I think we're going to learn quite a lot about the state of war in the international system today. Attendance and participation, a little discussion there. I'm not going to take attendance, but I do reserve the right to spot check attendance, particularly if it looks like attendance is getting a little slack in class. Please let me know, preferably by email, if you're going to be missing class at any time. In terms of course requirements, what's the actual work you're going to be doing in this class, aside from actually coming to class and engaging in discussion? There are 2 short reflection papers, 3 to 5 pages. One of them is going to be due before the midterm, and the other is going to be due after the midterm. And as you can see, there's a good amount of choice. So you can base your choice on these papers, whether you do the first, the second, or the third paper in the theory section, based on whatever you happen to be doing in your classes and in the rest of your life at Williams College. You can base it around your exams and your other classes, your sports schedule, your clubs, whatever it might be. And then as you see after the midterm, there's a second paper, either on war or on peace or on globalization. Choice there as well. Because I don't want everybody to jam up into what usually happens the very last paper opportunity, there's going to be a sign-up sheet via Glow, and that'll come in the future as these papers come closer to being due. Aside from those 2 short papers, there's also going to be one midterm, 5 to 7 pages. It'll be due October 27th. There will be a comprehensive Blue Book exam during finals week, and then of course class participation. I want to highlight this highlighted box here. Because there's a lot of flexibility in this class, and in terms of the papers that you're writing, and because you're all adults now. The papers are due, and unless there is some kind of serious emergency, please don't ask for extensions. Early papers are always welcome, but there are penalties for late papers that are described here in the box. There is no stigma at all attached to late papers. And in fact, if you think you're not going to be able to make a deadline, it's in fact better for you to take a small late penalty and write the best paper you can possibly write. Just because you've got work due in other classes is not a reason to ask for an extension in another class, certainly not in mine. Here's a little section on the honor code, which I encourage you to take a look at and read. And then for those of you who are interested in your grades, this is a distribution and how they're going to be calculated during the term. Our first day of class, substantive day of class, is going to be Tuesday, September 15th, and so we'll be reading out of the course packet. And then, of course, afterwards we start up the 4 big sections of the class. Theories of world politics. We begin our section on war in late October, and talking about some important current events, talking about the Iranian nuclear program, talking about ISIS. In the section on peace, talking about responsibility to protect and the kinds of things that are going on in the Middle East, particularly Syria and Libya a couple of years ago. Talk about peacekeeping, democracy, international law, and then we finally get to the last section of the course on globalization, We'll be talking about the European migration crisis and the Greek debt crisis, as well as a couple of other things. If you have any questions about the course, about registering for the class, at least the last I checked, this class was full to its cap of 35, and so there may be a wait list that Professor Crow put together on the first day that I missed. Please drop me a line, send me an email, or you can phone me. Of course, all of my contact information is available right up there at the very top of the syllabus, and I'll be happy to chat with you about anything that you need. Again, we'll have our first substantive day of class on Tuesday, and I look forward to seeing you all then.